Although she can take on many guises in our dreams and creative experiences, she is not from the layer of the mother, the maiden, the medial woman, and she is not the inner child. She is not the queen, the Amazon, the lover, the seer. She is just what she is. Call her La que sabe, the one who knows. Call her wild woman. Call her La loba. Call her by her high names or by her low names. Call her by her newer names or her ancient ones. She remains just what she is. Wild woman as an archetype is an inimitable and ineffable force which carries a bounty of ideas, images, and particularities for humankind. Archetype exists everywhere and yet is not seeable in the usual sense. What can be seen of it in the dark cannot necessarily be seen in daylight. We find lingering evidence of archetype in the images and symbols found in stories, literature, poetry, painting, and religion. It would appear that its glow, its voice, and its fragrance are meant to cause us to be raised up from contemplating the shit on our tails to occasionally traveling in the company of the stars. Lilith, the wild woman, the dark force, the numinous force, the outsider, the other, has changed signs. She moved into Taurus on the 21st of October, and she will be there until July, 18th of July, 2021. I'm using the mean Lilith, and she'll be there. This is normal. It takes 9 months in a sign, and it takes her about 9 years to get through the zodiac. So she was there in about 2011, and before that she was there in 2003 in Taurus. So I was thinking about the combination of these two amazing energies. Taurus is, of course, the fixed earth sign, the sign that it's a sign that we connect so much to nature and the natural world and our interactions with the world, with the five senses: taste, touch, sight, feel. It's the most sensual sign. And here's Lilith, who's this numinous, otherworldly energy, but actually is kind of comes up from the earth, comes up from the other place. And her most beneficial, Lilith sparks maybe not a Lilith word, but she invests our creativity with incredible energy. And at her worst, she is, of course, the baby eater, the Baba Yaga, the witch, who can trap you or kill you even. She is this power that's understood in a lot of cultures, such as like Durga in India, or Kali. She is like Kali, who wears the belt of heads, people that she's, the heads that people she's decapitated, and and dances on sleeping Shiva. So she's this incredible dark power that we have a lot of trouble integrating in our culture. That's why she's always cast as the other. And in her original story, her Arjun story, Lilith is cast out of the Garden of Eden. She's Adam's first wife. And you see her depicted in medieval pictures as with Adam and Eve sometimes. So there's Eve on one side, Adam on the other side, and Lilith coming down from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. So you find this, you do actually literally in astrology find Lilith involved in love triangles sometimes. It's quite interesting. So how does that energy work in Taurus? And I think that one, connection that these two, that Taurus and Lilith have, is passion. These are, she's also connected to sex. Sex which is not about procreation particularly, but just sexiness. And so is Taurus. Taurus is a sexy sign. It's opposite to the sign Scorpio, and that axis, the Scorpio-Taurus axis, is a sensual, sexual axis. So wherever Taurus is in your chart, you're going to have Lilith coming through, and she's going to be awakening some of that, we call it darker, but I don't really like that, but some of that deeper side of Taurus, maybe some of the hidden stuff. So if you're Taurian, you may feel your wild person emerging. And if you're a man, this is just as relevant, because for a man, Lilith does manifest as your anima, your other, and you see it in authors' charts, quite often authors, I haven't got my list here, but quite often authors who have a very strong character that they write about again and again and again, like Mr. Ripley, Patricia Highsmith, they have a strong Lilith maybe in the opposite sign to their sun sign, or they have a strong Lilith going on, so they're actually projecting a lot of stuff through that Lilith. So I'm quite excited, as you can tell, by the idea of Lilith being back in Taurus for the first time in 9 years, and that emerging power coming from the earth, earthly power. I do recollect, actually, that in 2011, that was the time of the Arab Spring. There's an upwelling of stuff from underneath, this upwelling of passion. So I did think about what the other, Taurus rules the throat. So I thought, of course, one of the ways to get in touch with your Lilith is obviously going to be through singing. Yeah, through singing from right down here, sing from your ovaries up. And I thought, well, what singers? I wonder what singers have got Lilith and Taurus. And there's a long list, as you can imagine. But I particularly note that Maria Callas, the great opera singer of mid-20th century, has Lilith and Taurus. And Billie Holiday, also actually from pretty much the same period, the great jazz singer Billie Holiday, who they sing, not so much from the heart, but from down here, both of them, from experience and pain and passion. And what they're able to do is they're able to vocalize passion. And just when you think about astrology, it's really useful sometimes to think about the opposite signs. So we have Scorpio, which rules the genitals, and Taurus, which rules the throat. And maybe that Lilith may allow some of that passion to come out. So you may find, or you may not at all, find that Lilith awakens a passion that you have somewhere in your life, somewhere in your chart. I think for Scorpios, this is going to be very interesting for your relationships, and your relationships and your sex life. Maybe you'll re-find it or find it again. You'll develop some passion. Like I said, there's a love triangle thing with Lilith sometimes, so that's something to watch out for. But essentially, I think it's very exciting, that this combination of energies. I note that we've just had the Taurus full moon that was on Halloween, was fairly close to this Lilith. Lilith was at 1 degree of Taurus, and this is the beginning of this cycle now. It's opened up with that, and so it's pretty strong right now while the sun is in Scorpio, and it will be very strong again when the sun is in Taurus in May. So we're here at the kind of dying of the year, and in May at the burgeoning of the year. So I just wanted to end with this little quote from Sylvia Plath, who of course was a Scorpio. She had Lilith in Taurus, exactly opposite to her Mercury, which is of course the writing. It's like the pen. Mercury is it's the quill that she wrote with. So her quill was dipped in Lilith. And this is, and you can see that again and again in her poetry, which is very precise, very exact, very sharp, but very passionate and sensual as well. And here's what she wrote in her journal. Yes, I was infatuated with you. I am still. No one has ever heightened such a keen capacity of physical sensation in me. And that could be just a thing to keep in mind, is that Taurus is about physicality. And Lilith may awaken some passion in you. I hope so.